Hi, third graders. This is Miss Hanamio, and let's take a few minutes to go over our DMA for today. So today is Wednesday. We're going to take a look at our first problem for week 23, day 3. And looking at the very first problem, it says Roxanne had 29 colorful rubber bands. So, just kind of model this in my head. Here's a package. There's 29 rubber bands. Tyrone gave her some more. Okay. Don't know how much Tyrone gave her. Okay. If Roxanne was able to give 6 friends 8 rubber bands each, okay, so now we've got to take this. This is a 2-step problem. How many rubber bands did Tyrone give her? So first of all, we need to take this thinking right here and find out first what information do we absolutely what can we absolutely start with? Well, we don't know how many rubber bands Tyrone gave her. That's the unknown. We don't know this. But we do know that she gave 6 friends 8 rubber bands each. So this is multiplication because you have groups, because that's what multiplication is, right? You have groups and you have a number in each group. So your 6 friends are getting each 8 rubber bands. So this person gets rubber bands, this one gets bands, rubber bands, rubber bands, rubber bands, and again, rubber bands. So 6 friends, 8 rubber bands for each friend, right? 8 rubber bands each. And if I don't know what 6 times 8 is, or 6 groups of 8, I can always use 3 times 8 and another 3 times 8, because 3 groups of 8 is 24, and another 3 groups of 8 is 24. So 24 and 24, 20 and 20 is 40. 4 and 4 makes 8. There are 48 rubber bands total. That's the total number of rubber bands that she gave her friends. Now, that's not what they're asking for. They're not asking how many rubber bands she had. They're asking how many rubber bands Tyrone gave her, which means if this was my total number of rubber bands that were given out, these are my total, and part of those rubber bands were the ones that, what was her name? Roxanne had, right? These were the ones that Roxanne had. Then I can find the part that Tyrone gave her by subtracting my total with Roxanne's part. Then I can find Tyrone's part. So 48 minus the 29, I can't subtract 9 from 8, so I borrow a 10. I regroup the 10 as 8 and 10 makes 18. Now I can subtract. 18 minus 9, well, I know that 9 plus 9 is 18. So if I subtract 18 minus 9, that's going to give me 9, because 9 plus 9 is 18. 30 minus 20. 3 tens minus 2 tens is 1 10. So Tyrone gave Roxanne 19 rubber bands. That was his part that he gave to Roxanne. So we could say Tyrone gave her 19 rubber bands because 6 groups of 8 is 48, then I subtract or take away, right? I subtract Roxanne's, and it's apostrophe S because those are her rubber bands. I subtract Roxanne's rubber bands, or 29 rubber bands, right? 29 rubber bands. 29 rubber bands to have 19 left, which are the ones that Tyrone gave her. Okay? So there's our word problem. This is a 2-step problem. That means that we had to do multiple steps. So first we had to figure out how many rubber bands that Roxanne had, and we used a model to help us figure that out. Then we had to take those total rubber bands, take away Roxanne's part, and then we ended up with Tyrone's part that he gave her. Now remember, when you use subtraction, you should be able to use addition to help you check your subtraction by using addition. So if I took 19 and I added 29 to that, that would give me my total, which would be 48. Okay, let's take a look at our next problem. Our next set of problems are, multiplication and division problems. So I have 30 objects. I'm putting them into, we don't know how many are in each group or how many groups we have, but we can say, okay, well, what do I want to do? Do I want to make this groups or the number in each group? Well, I think I'll make it the number in each group and start counting by 6s up to 30. So let's count by 6s. 6, 12, 18, 24, 30. Now, once I get to that 30, that means that I have groups of 6. So that's 6 plus 6 plus 6 plus 6 plus 6. And I added 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 groups of 6 to get to 30. Now, I could also use repeated subtraction and take away groups of 6. So I could start with 30, subtract 6, that would be 24. Take 24, subtract 6, that would be 18. Take 18, subtract 6, that would leave me with 12. Take 12, subtract 6 more, that leaves me with 6. And finally, if I take 6 and subtract the last 6, that leaves me with 0. How many groups of 6 was I able to subtract once I ran out of objects? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's still going to be 5 groups of 6. But I'm just using repeated subtraction to show the division. Now, let's take a look at how many groups of 9 do I need to make 54? Well, again, if I know how to skip count and use my multiples of 9, and remember, this pattern is pretty simple to remember if you switch your 1s and your 10s. So you start with 9. 9 plus 9 is 18. Add 10, subtract 1, 27. 27 plus 10 would be 37. Take 1 away, 36. Add 10, which would be 46. Take 1 away would be 45. And then if I add 10, that would be 55. Take 1 away, 54. Okay, so how many groups of 9 was I able to make to get to 54, which is my total? Well, I have 6 groups of 9. And the last multiplication fact, I'm missing my product. This was my factor. Factor, factor, product. Factor, factor, product. So I have 3 groups of 5. 5 plus 5 plus 5. 5 plus 5 is 10. And 5 more is 15. So if I count by 5s and I use my multiples of 5, that's going to give me 15 total objects. So when I take these 3 groups of 5 and put them all together, I get the total, which is my product. And finally, I have a number line here. It's broken up into 6 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 parts in the whole. Each one of these parts is 1 more 6 added on to the numerator. So from here to here is 2/6. From here to here would be 3/6. From here would be 1 more, 4/6. From here to here would be 5 of my 6 pieces. And finally, at the 1 hole would be 6/6. Now it says label 2/6 on the number line. So we're going to place a point here. And let's label 5/6 on this number line here. And these are where the 2 points are on my number line. Now, here's your discussion question for today. From 2/6 to 5/6, how many 6 are there between 2/6 and 5/6? So take your time and count how many 6 does it take to get from 2/6 to 5/6. And that's your discussion question for today in your Schoology. Can't wait to see what you guys have as your answers. Make sure that you go ahead and do that today, and I will see you on Thursday. Have a great Wednesday, guys, and see you tomorrow.